at the end of the year, we'll have
Nice.
4 big products. We'll have the record store for music collectibles, which we already have. We have the music distribution service, which we already have, with an additional 2.0 update that's going to give more features. Then we also have the mobile app that's coming out shortly, as well as the marketplace for the stream tokens. So for the streaming token IP.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 33rd episode of Colors of Web3 and Entrepreneurship. My name is Lum, your Web3 host. For those of you who are new to the show, Colors of Web3 and Entrepreneurship is a show highlighting the journeys of builders and innovators in Web3 and entrepreneurship. Some topics, especially in Web3, may get technical, but we do our best to keep it accessible for most people. And today I am joined by Ryan Jones. He is the co-founder and co-CEO of Newm, very interesting Web3 company. Ryan, can you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yes. Hi. Yeah. So, as you said, I'm Ryan. I'm co-founder and co-CEO of Newm, and I'm actually a musician myself. Musician by day, co-founder by all the other hours of the day. So I actually have 2 master's degrees, one in music education and then one in conducting. So I do classical world, and I also do the commercial side. So I'm over here in Nashville, where it's kind of one of the central hubs of the music industry. So it's a pretty pivotal place to be located. So, but that's what I do. And Newm, for you music nerds out there, it's actually derived from the term pneumatic notation, which is the earliest form of Western civilization music notation. So that's my music nerdness coming out in our naming convention, but our marketing team got a hold of it and made it look snazzy. So.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I like how you guys came up with the name there. Yeah, Newm. That's very interesting. Also, interesting linkage to the music. And yeah, sounds like you said you have 2 master degrees. All right. Well, that sounds quite a lot of education there. Can you maybe
Yes.
walk us through your education, or a little bit about that, and then your professional background before you got into Web3, and then leading up to your current position?
Yeah, no, of course. So I was actually a pianist since the age of 10, and then a vocalist. And so I went to college at Stanford University in Birmingham for an undergraduate in music performance with a double performance concentration in piano and voice. And then I got a master's in music education. And then I moved out to Los Angeles to go to USC, Trojan, by Dawn, to get a master's in conducting. And so along the way, while I was doing that, I'm conducting choirs, doing piano competitions, etc. So I lived very heavily in the classical world, the classical side of the music industry, leading up to it. So I played at jazz clubs, piano bars, churches. So my growing up, my week would look like, on the weekdays I would play at a library bar, and on the weekends I'd play at church. So that was my job, and so you learn a lot from that. But once I moved to LA, I had opportunities to do more studio and commercial work out there with some of the like the sang with able to sing with Elton John at the Emmys one year with us. So Take 6, Barry Manilow, some fun stuff that you get to do out there. And so got exposed to that whole other side of the equation, essentially, and fell in love with both of them, and they both have a place. So one informs the other for me, and then fast forward, I taught. I was a music educator, so I taught public school for about 6 years. And during that time, actually during my second master's, I discovered Bitcoin, and that was around 2012. And I was stupid and should have bought more ramen and bought more Bitcoin, but I didn't do that. So I watched it go up and down and yada yada, and I kept tabs on it. But fast forward to when I started teaching, I saw more about Ethereum at that point. It was 2015, 16, and I finally had a more stable income, and so I went, well, I'll do the investing thing. But I do a lot of research because that's just how I am.
That's good.
Anyways, yes. So at that point, so I've basically been active in the crypto space since around 2016, 2017 timeframe. I've been a passive observer since 2012. So that's been my journey. And we all know the narratives of why crypto, how it started, bank the unbanked, and then it moved to replace the middlemen, right, with code that isn't incentivized to make a profit, specifically related to the banking sector. And then I had a thought. I went, well, if we can do that with the banking industry, there's many other industries, mine specifically the music side, that we could also do this with. And so that led to the initial thought, or the initial idea, actually around 2017 for myself. But I hadn't been able to meet the right people yet in the space to actually help flesh this out and to make it a reality up until COVID time, or a little bit before that. So we ended up starting everything in the midst of COVID, and I was actually in Houston, Texas, with my wife, and we picked up and we moved to Nashville in the middle of COVID, um, largely in part of because of Newm. So that's how I'm here at this point, and without getting into any other details, but that's a big picture of how we got here.
I see. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So there's actually quite a lot of there's a few things that you would like to, just for my own curiosity. So I'm not a musician by any means. I think the only music class that I've taken was one. I think it's called music appreciation. I took it in college. It's like way back. That's the only class that I took actually. So that also taught me like appreciation for classical music. Bach, Beethoven, you name on. Copland, name on. There's so many famous composers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was the only thing. So I'm actually always curious, like, what do you learn in a music major? Do you learn to sing, compose music, or
you learn lots of things? Yeah, actually. So you learn music theory. So there's 2 years worth of classes devoted to the theory behind music.
Really, 2 years? Wow, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, theory 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the funny thing is, the music always happens before the theory comes. That's the joke we say. So, because you're always analyzing music, is what it is, and that's how you derive theory. You get better at sight reading. So sight reading is just like literacy. So music is a language, right? So
it is.
If you can, if you're very fluent at a language and you can read something without having to practice speaking, well, music's the same way. I can take a piece of music I haven't seen before and hopefully be able to play at least some of it relatively easily. You practice your craft, right? So you have private lessons. So you're practicing lots and lots of hours a day. And then as you go further up the chain of the education ladder, you get more specialized. And so at that point, I can tell you my last 2 years of my degree, it was lots of studying. And then also you retrain your body for conducting, etc. You have to, it's something called proprioception. It's the awareness of your body in space and space it occupies. And so there's a lot of psychology of gesture and how what you do with your body affects the person watching you, and just understanding the tools in the toolbox. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you actually have to learn. So the musicians are weird. Your body is your instrument, not just the thing you do. And so there's a lot of psychology that goes into our craft. So
interesting. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that sounds quite complex. The music theory you said. I guess it's kind of similar to, since I have a double major, but it was mathematics and economics. Mathematics you also have to learn from the base, right? Like algebra, pre-calculus, calculus, and differential equation, and so on and so forth. Right? So I guess music kind of same way.
It's very much, musicians and math go hand in hand. That's just all we do. And but I jokingly say I only count to 4 on a daily basis. That's all I have to do. So
why 4?
Because you can set. I don't have to go any higher. If the time signature is in 6/8, I can subdivide that in 2. So I don't have to count to 6. Like I can just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's like the beat and the rhythm in music.
Yeah. So there's duple, triple, and all the fun things. Anyways, so yeah.
It's very cool. Nice. And then you said I think you discover Bitcoin, right, pretty early, and then Ethereum, and you
Yes.
got into that. Was that, did you just read some, like, I don't know, I don't think it was on the news back then, right? So how did someone like
No,
share with
it
you?
was Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter. Oh, okay.
Twitter at the time, and I happened upon a YouTube video at some point. I wasn't on the 4chan boards or anything like that. I mean, I found out about those like 2014, 15. So then I kind of I would just not lurk, but occasionally look at them, going, what's some crazy thing somebody has posted at this point. So that's kind of how it went. And so after that, it's you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube once you hear about
Yeah.
it. So I started searching, and I was like, what is this Bitcoin thing? And then you were like, oh, crypto. And then you're like, oh, decentralized ledger. And yeah, so all the stuff that happens with that. So yeah, I think the first place I actually heard about Bitcoin was on a Twitter post somewhere. Either that or a Reddit post. I can't remember. So
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. I guess that's a good side of social media, right? Yeah. At least help you
yes,
discover new things, right? I mean,
correct.
besides the numerous bad reason why social media is bad for you, but I guess that's one of the good things that the algorithm bring to us, discovery of
Occasionally,
new things. Yeah, occasionally.
yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. Can you sounds like you got quite a lot going on in life. Maybe can you share with us what do you do for fun outside of work at the moment? What are your personal hobbies?
Well, I have a wonderful new child, so that's taking up quite a bit of my
Mm.
time. We actually had two babies. I jokingly say I had two babies at one time because he was born at the end of the year this past year, and then we launched one of our first in-house products around the same
Oh,
time. So there was a lot of life happening. I love to play chess. I love to go out. I love to hike. Um, it's nice just to be outdoors, especially when you have to spend your time inside so much. So, but
yeah.
obviously, part of my work though is I love what I do. So I love creation. I love the act of creating, and so it's one of the few jobs that I don't necessarily have to say, all right, I'm done now, because I'm really not. It's just I'm always thinking about you know some type of creation thing, and I think that's just part of the entrepreneur spirit slash
Mm.
musician too. So yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. Um, Actually, maybe one more thing about the music. So when someone go to school and learn music, right, what are some of the potential career path? I think for me, like main thing that I know, become a musician, singer. I guess singer,
yeah.
songwriter, and then work in an orchestra. I don't know. I guess it's also a job. But like, is that
Yeah,
some career path?
there's so many. There's the industry path, so you can do music business. There's a medical path. You can do music therapy. There's an
Hmm.
education path where you can be a music teacher, music education, right? Which is typically the most stable income and the most stable job. Or you can go performance route, right? So you can try to do the opera thing, or you can sing in a chorus or choir. Instrumentalists, yes, most instrumentalists they try to get on full time at a symphony, and there's a lot of teaching of private lessons, so a lot of
Hmm.
contractor work, um, all that stuff. So, but yeah, you in the industry, you can go into production. You can be a film score composer. There's so many different things you can do. It's just it kind of permeates. People don't realize how much music permeates their life until you don't have it.
Hmm.
Just think about what that looks like, etc. So yeah, but that's I didn't give you exact specifics, but there's off the top of my head, you have the medical field with therapy, you have education field, you have the music business side of things, which is the commercial music side of things, or the
I see.
management of the artists themselves, whether that be classical or commercial. You have publishing, so the publication of the actual music compositions. You have composing. The list kind of goes on and on. So
It's quite
it's
a
a
lot.
big
Yeah.
industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's huge. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, we all listen to music like around our world, right? Whether it's in, I don't know, movies or maybe in some commercial, whatever it is. Right? Yes, it's quite around us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks
Very
for
much
sharing.
so.
Yeah,
You're
and
welcome.
then I mean, but you have chosen a very different career path, as we know it. Now you are like the co-founder, right? CEO, right? So I mean, I don't know how much you use your music talent, but yeah, that would be, I guess, it would be the perfect segue into maybe share with us like what you guys are building at Newm, yeah, and what is your role in that? Yeah, feel free to share with us any presentation or slide that you have prepared or your website.
Yeah. No, so this is our landing page for Neum.io. Yeah, so co-founder, co-CEO. That happened. We started with an initial idea. I said I wanted to make a decentralized music streaming platform, and that was the first initial idea. And then I found a couple of people in the space, and I was talking to them about it. I finally got in touch with my now co-founder and co-CEO Flo, and I was telling him my idea.
Was
And
this in
from a
2020? 2020?
yes, or
Yeah, okay.
2019 or 2020.
Hmm.
That kind of the years kind of have flown since then. Um, but I knew he. I was talking to him from a financial standpoint, just a business modeling standpoint, and I went, well, what do you think about this? And he went, that's a great idea, but it's not going to work. And I went, well, that sucks. Can you tell me, can you make it work? And he said, well, let me think about it. So he took a couple days. Then he came back and we kind of fleshed things out. So, um, and it started originally as Project Muse, like Muse. And I got a cease and desist letter in the mail from the
Oh,
band Muse.
ouch. Ooh.
Apparently, I was like, but and I went to dinner one night with an IP lawyer friend of mine who was in my choir, and I was complaining. Okay, we're a tech startup. We're not even we're not even a music like we're not a band. We're not a musician. We're a tech startup. So how could they say we're infringing upon? We're not using their name. And he's like, you're right, but can you afford to be right in court? I went,
Hmm.
no. And he said, well, time to pivot. And I said, okay, well there you go. So that's how we actually came up with Newm. So and at that point we had grown, and I mean right now we have close to 50 people
Hmm.
in various capacities working and contributing, and they're just part of the Newm fam that are doing this. And so it's changed since we first started, in the DNA of everybody in the company. It's permeated this, and so I very much say this all the time. It's something that its sum is greater than the sum of its parts, and it's no longer just my project. It's everybody's project, because everybody has contributed and they put their DNA on it and stamp on that. And so um, even our branding, etc. And that's CPO, our CPO Tiziana, she she made it look, I call it jokingly, she made it look sexy uh, in mainstream, because my drawing capacity is not there. So there's multiple people involved with this at this point. So we started with just me, then my co-founder, and then we got my CTO Andrew Westberg, um, and we just kind of grew from there. And everybody actually pulled from their own network, and because they were so passionate about it, to just bring in their own network of people in to work on it. That's how we kind of got to the point where we're at now. So we went through that process, and yeah, and we just you wear many hats and you do jobs that you have to do, and that's where we're at this point. So
Hmm.
we're fleshed out. We have our legal team, we have marketing, product devs. We have dedicated mobile devs, one for Android, one for iOS. We have design team. It just grows. So, and you grow
Yeah.
with it. So
Yeah. 50
it's
people
been
is
a journey.
quite, yeah, I bet 50 people are quite big. Can you maybe share with us like what is the fundamental problem that your company trying to address, right, or solve?
Yeah,
I know it has something to do with music, but yeah.
yeah. So I'll give a big picture. When I mentioned the industry is very large, there's lots of things to tackle, and our big thing is we want to be and to create a decentralized music ecosystem.
Hmm.
And the one of the problems in the industry is lack of transparency with the music industry. A surprise, surprise. Very similar to the banking. And there's lots of middlemen. So there's a black box, and then there's lots of middlemen that take cuts of money along the way. So between consumer and artist, or consumer and musician, or consumer and composer, there's a lot of siphoning of value before you get to those two connective points. And so because of that, there's many artists that can't make a full-time living doing the thing that they love to do. So they have to go and get multiple jobs just so they can come home at the end of the day and do the thing that they love, and not really for much pay. And it's not because what they're producing is bad quality. It's just because they haven't chosen to go down the commercial music route and or gone with a large label that they have a process and they have a formula, and if you don't fit that mold for them and their metrics, then it's not worth their time to potentially invest in you as an artist, etc. So, or value extract is the other term that many musicians use. So that's the overarching big problem for the industry as a whole. So, and we're aiming to tackle quite a few of those points, and I can tell you what our big five points are that we're aiming to build out, and I can tell you what we've built out to date. So, what we are aiming to do is having a decentralized streaming platform that has direct tipping and micropayments to artists. We also have a marketplace for music IP rights, as well as music collectibles, and we also want to provide ticketing, and that's for in real life events as well as metaverse events. And if anybody's seen the Live Nation legality issues as of late, that should tell you many things. Yeah. And then we also have decentralized governance. So the Newm Foundation, we have setting up a DAO. And so the Newm token holders can vote on governance changes to the platform and protocol. So that could be anything from payout rates per stream, et cetera, to do we want to go and hire some development firm to do X, Y, and Z or something like that. It's governance, whether that be social or technical. And then the big thing, which I think is revolutionary, is it's the fractionalization of music IP. So we do distribution and fractionalization of music IP rights. And that lives on-chain. And so we bring off-chain royalties on-chain and tokenize them. And so those are the big things that we do. And what we've built to date is we believe our cornerstone product, and that is a decentralized music distribution service. So that's a DSP service. And inside of that, you fractionalize and distribute the streaming royalty IP tokens. We call them stream tokens. Those are representative of the streaming IP for a piece of music. So for people who don't understand, as a musician, if you have a piece of music that you record, how do you get it to streaming platforms? Well, there are platforms that you have to use to get your piece of music from your home studio onto the Spotify's, the Apple Musics, the Amazon Musics, etc. of the world. And so a couple of examples are CD Baby, DistroKid, I think in TuneCore or others. So, and Newm, we have our own distribution service. And the beauty of it is a lot of times for the distribution companies, you either have to pay annually or your piece of music gets taken down, which that's, I don't particularly think that's fair. Or you have to give away, I think, 11% at this point of your music IP for it to stay up in perpetuity. Well, with Newm,
wow, 11% is a lot.
I know. And with Newm, you pay one time, and it's up forever, and you get to keep all of your IP. So, and it's that, to me, the value prop for that is just phenomenal. So it's a music ecosystem that's being built by musicians and people that love the music, and like the thing that we do, we wake up and do is music, and they also happen to build that. So this is what we're building, and so that's the cornerstone product that we've built up to date, which I think it's to my knowledge, it's the only product that's a Web3 powered distribution service. We also have a record store, which is for music collectibles, and I'll talk briefly in a minute what I consider the difference to be, as opposed to a music NFT or a music collectible. And there's a lot of jargon, and there's a lot of just a lexicon of words that's still being developed in real time, I think, because of everything. It's all developing in real time. So, well, we can talk about that more in a minute. But
No.
at this point, you want me to go into?
I
I
see.
can show you the record store
Yeah,
first if you want
actually,
me to.
wait, hold on. I'm quite curious. So you said there's like 5 problems, right? You're trying to solve, or 5 teams, like you try and tackle, and so far you have one big product, which is a, what is it, decentralized music platform? Is that right?
Yeah, so we have
Yeah.
a decentralized music distribution service.
Music distribution. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And does that mean that you are distributing? Would you be like a platform that distribute music to the end user? So
Correct.
user have to come and listen to music here. Do
Well,
they have to download an app, or yeah?
well, so
How's that work?
that's something that's another product coming up, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So
Okay.
right now, when you go to Newm, you can get your music on the streaming platform. So right now, I'm listening to a couple of pieces of music on Spotify, um, and I'm actually paying myself as I listen to them, because some of these pieces that I'm listening to, I own stream tokens for that song, and so the royalties generated from me listening to that piece of music on my phone, those royalties are making their way back to me, the stream token owner, on chain.
So
And that's because we distributed the music through Newm Studio.
so you're earning the stream token, right? Is that right?
I'm
Correct.
earning the stream IP, yes. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not earning stream tokens. I'm earning
Okay. Stream IP.
the income that's correlated with how many stream tokens I own of that song. So
Okay.
I can break that down a little bit more,
Hmm.
if you want to. So when we distribute a piece of music, we take that piece of music, and we say, all right, there's 100% ownership of the IP. And for us, we actually have fungible tokens that represent the percentage of ownership. And so what we chose is, we said, let's do 100 million tokens per song. And what does that mean? That means 100% with 6 decimal places. So this can facilitate really large artists that have a massive fan base if they want to saturate that, or it doesn't mean you have to give them the single most smallest division. You can give bundles of that, which represent a larger percentage of the pie. And so we send that piece of music to the streaming platforms, and then as people listen to the music on the streaming platforms, the money that's generated, so the fiat that's generated from subscriptions to the streaming platforms, when they listen to that piece of music, that were the royalties, they actually get funneled back through Newm and go onto the blockchain. And so at that point, they go and it looks at all of the wallet holders, and we go, all right, where are the stream tokens for that song that the money is sitting here for? And we take a snapshot, and we go, oh, this person has, let's say, they have 5% of the total streaming token IP. So they have 5% of the stream tokens for that song. That means they're owed 5% of this pot that we have to distribute. And then we find everybody with those tokens. And so that's automatically taken care of with smart contracts. And so that's how we bring the money from the royalties onto the chain for the token holders, for those stream tokens, for that single.
I see. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I think I'm for the blockchain aspect of it. I think I can clearly see how that would work. I guess some of my question is actually about the part, like, so. Okay, so let's say user go stream music on Spotify, right, or maybe another platform, existing platform, and then the royalties from that platform is then converted into a token on the blockchain, on your blockchain.
Yes.
I'm not sure what blockchain you guys using, but yeah, blockchain, and then from there distribute to the owners of the IPs, right? Which
Yes,
hold
that's correct.
some sort of token. Okay, I see. What tool do you guys use to like on ramp it then? Because I'm assuming that when you earn the royalties, it's actually in fiat, right? And then you have to on ramp it.
That's correct. Yeah, so we have a white label partners that we use for the connective tissue between Web 2 and Web 3. So we have API connections with them, and so that's how that functions, and it goes into the foundation, and then it's converted automatically. So that's how our connective tissues work to the outside world, essentially.
Nice. Okay, I see. And then when and oh, by the way, I guess it brings me to the next question. What blockchain is this running on, by the way?
Cardano, the Cardano blockchain.
Oh, Cardano. Okay. Well, okay. And I guess my next question would be like, why did you guys choose Cardano?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can tell you. It's very simple. It's three bullet points, and I can tell you the music industry's been around for a hot minute. ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, those are your PROs, performance rights organizations. The oldest is ASCAP, it's been around since 1915 here in the States. Um, each territory has their own PRO, essentially. Um, so all that to say is the
Wait, what's
industry,
PRO?
a
PRO.
performance rights organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so this is part of the industry. It gets very convoluted, but the point is that they've been around for a long time. Some of them over a century, and so one of the things is if we're going to bring royalties onto a blockchain, and we are going to need something that's going to be around, right, for a long time. Um, that really, I want my grandchildren to be able to use this, and if it's, I want to be able to say I've owned this piece of music for 20 or two decades. Um, we need, and if there's going to be $1 trillion worth of value brought in, we need something that has high assurance code. So the Cardano blockchain has been up and running for over 1,000 plus days. When you build a business, it's already risky doing startups. It's exponentially risky doing startups in Web3
Yeah.
because whichever blockchain you choose to build upon, that's an attack vector that could potentially tank your business, right? Because if your
Yeah, that's
blockchain
true.
goes
Yep.
away, your business is no longer there. We saw that with Solana early on in this cycle when you had a lot of builders before the price tanked, and then they said, "Oh my God, the devs went away," and then you had, or with some other tokens, right, where builders, the chain went away, and so you had legitimate builders and projects that just went kaput overnight, not for any of their fault. It was their chain went away. And so we feel very confident in the staying power of the Cardano blockchain, but also it's the security model, right, and the high assurance code. For us, being written in Haskell, that's built for systems that cannot fail, right? So aviation, and
Mm.
banking, some of the banking systems, right? So that's the first thing. Two is in Cardano, as opposed to say Ethereum, for example, where a token in Ethereum is a smart contract, right? It is an application
Yeah.
running, and it's
Yeah.
pulling computational power from the chain at all times. But it also means that token can be potentially manipulated, right? So just from the sheer act of interacting with the token on Ethereum, you could drain your wallet if you don't know what you're doing. And so that for us, for Cardano, there's something called native assets. And so the native asset standard is essentially where any token that's developed or that's minted on Cardano, it's treated with the same rights and authority as the base token currency ADA. So it's a first class citizen. It's not anything else. So the other thing is that once you've minted it, it lives on chain and it doesn't have to pull computation power. So a token is a token is a token. That's all it is. You can't Trojan horse you, right? So it lives there. It doesn't have any code running in the background to make it stay on the chain. So that's the other big thing on that is because of that, we know that people can interact with tokens and look at them, have them in their wallet, and it doesn't open them up to an attack vector. And so the other thing is we need to know, and this, if you're running a business, you have to know your cost basis. For us,
Yeah.
understanding the fixed cost for minting and knowing that up front is integral to building out the business logic on this. And so with Ethereum and the gas fees, that's not viable for us. You can't have a point to where people are trying to distribute a piece of music and we have a price set of $10 per distribution, and that's accounting with the transaction fees. Whereas in Ethereum, maybe the gas maybe something's going on, and one day they're spending more money in gas than they are the fee, the normal fee. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, high assurancy code. It's the native asset standards which allow us to do fungibles and non-fungibles, and they are just the token that have the same rights as the base currency of the chain, ADA, and then also that fee predictability model. So those are the three big things as to why we chose ADA.
Interesting. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's first time I have a very clear logical explanation as well. Yeah, for choosing that. Yeah, so I guess in Cardano blockchain is a fee like more fixed in a way, like the
Yes.
gas cost and minting cost.
Yeah, so the minting cost you can predict. So whenever you build your transactions, when you're building your smart contract for your transactions, you can actually see you'll know what the cost is before it's ever actually executed. And so yeah, and you can't have any drop transactions, etc.
I see.
And so basically, it's almost like Bitcoin in the sense, because it's an extended UTXO as opposed to the Bitcoin UTXO model, right? So think about it as just UTXO with smart contract capability, etc. And now soon to be governance. But basically, yeah, when you build that, it gives you the heads up on the price for the fee for that at that point. And the beauty is, once you submit it, it's going to go through. It's just a matter of when, right? So we don't have any gas fees on Cardano yet, if that's even going to be a thing. So
that's good. I see. Yeah. So what would be like the rough, I guess, maybe minting cost in like US dollar per transaction or something?
For the transaction, I'm trying to think through this. I think it's 5 cents.
Okay.
I believe.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's very cheap. Yeah, I feel like anything below 10 cents it should be like it, meaning very easy and good UX for users, so you don't have to think about the price of the gas, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Well, the reason I was saying that is because whenever you have, well, this gets a little technical, but basically, if you have collaborators on your song, and so that means when you mint it, you need to send tokens to different wallet addresses. That's taking space in your block, right? So the more space in the block, then that means that the fee goes up to accommodate for that. So I was trying to think through what the total would have been with the full 6 collaborators on there, and it was, I think it's 0.2 ADA or something like that.
I see. So you have to, I guess you have to do like the initial airdrop or something like that for the initial holders?
No. You just build the transaction, and
okay.
we bake it into the fee. We have a wonderful UX, UI UX that actually it shows it in like a receipt form of here's your total cost before you hit submit and submit. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. No. Okay. Now that we know the underlying network powering your company or your platform, yeah, maybe can you share with us more about the platform, how it works, and
no, of course. So
yeah.
let's hop in here for a quick second. And so when you code to newm.io, you have a couple things. The music store. So we have the record store, which is for our music collectibles. And so
as is like non-fungible token in a way.
Correct.
Right?
That
okay.
is that. Mm-hmm. So the music NFTs. And so what I call these a collectible because the equivalent of what music NFTs as current date stands is if you have a fixed supply of something, we call that a limited release, right? So it's a serialized release. So it's the same piece of audio, maybe with different visuals, whatnot. But if you condense it down to its most basic form, it's a serialized release, which is no different from saying, I'm an artist, I have an album, I'm going to physically print 100 CDs, and I only am going to make 100 CDs, and this is it, right? So that is what this basically is. It's the blockchain version of a serialized or CDs essentially, right? So, and you can come down here, you can search through artist, genre, etc. You can come right here and preview before you buy it. And this is the artists themselves set the pricing on this. This isn't so this is a marketplace for the music artists to come in and offer serialized releases. So you can have a 30-second preview of this. If you want to buy it, it takes you to our partner for the record store through InMaker, to where you can buy with either credit card or Cardano, Ethereum, Solana wallets, and it'll be sent to either your wallet address or they can have a non-custodial wallet hold it. So
Nice. I
yes,
see.
so
But
that's
by the way, what third party provider was that? The one that helped
InMaker.
with the on
Yeah, we have
InMaker.
our
Okay.
yes, InMaker is our partner along with Six City for the record store. So the record store is a partnership between ourselves, Newm, Six City, and then as well as InMaker. And so that's one product that we have going right now. And so as a musician, if you would like to drop music on the record store through serialized releases as a collectible, we have a link right up here at the top where you can click that and you can get in touch with the team. We have a record store team that helps you walk through the business logic and thoughts behind pricing and the amounts, etc. So pretty white gloved, actually. And then our other big, and this is going to the music distribution
I see.
service.
Wait for the drop music. I'm curious. So then I guess they have to get in touch with your team, right? And then your team help them to list their
Yes.
music.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So
they cannot do it themselves. Yeah.
The record store is curated. So the record store is a curated record store. That was what we thought was the right way to go with this particular product. That way, it's just quality control, and you can't just spam it with, we want to keep the quality high on that. Now, the Newm Studio, which I think is just fabulous. So this is the intro to the studio. So it's Newm.studio. Anybody can go and create an account right now, either with their socials or just create their own email and password. I'm going to log in to my own Newm email. And right at the beginning, you're greeted with an upload song, right? An upload song tab. And this walks you through the process. And I'll talk about that in a second. But over here on the left-hand side, you have your profile, where you can set your stage name, your preferred. Your music genre is determined based off of what you actually upload. Your physical location or where you're domiciled, your main role as an artist. We have different stuff in here. You can give a description, then you can fill in your socials, outlet profiles. So if you're an artist and you've already distributed once in your career, you already have an artist profile on these particular services, and so you can fill in that, and that'll help link everything together. And then you can fill in this is about you stuff is filled in actually when you set up your account. And then we're also building out what do you call it? An option for the record store. Sorry, for the studio that's more based upon labels and sub accounts and master accounts, so people can manage other artists and whatnot. So like a manager account. So we're building that out right now. That's going to be in 2.0. But if you're functioning as a company, you can select that and you can fill in your information there. But then also, if you look right here, you have a wallet. So I can go and connect my wallet right now. And so if you look right here, you see royalties accrued so far. In the little QA, it shows you what that is showing. And it's a claiming process. So once your royalties are accrued, you can claim them yourself. I will say we decided to do the claiming process as opposed to an airdrop because from a protocol standpoint, it costs to send transactions, right? So we're putting the financial burden on the person claiming the royalties as opposed to the protocol paying to send the royalties out. Because otherwise you can't account for the total cost for people trying to pull out royalties, right? So that
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't have anything in this account, but for the library, if I've uploaded a piece of music, then I am greeted with all the information about this. And if I have collaborators, people that also have co-ownership from the inception of the piece, they'll be listed here as well. But let me just show you here how this goes, how this looks. So it's extremely simple to upload and distribute and mint a piece of music. It's literally, I can go here and go here for a second. Test. I can type in test audio. Oh, that's not. Oh, well, never mind. I can't show you that. We probably want to edit that for a second because it's under 30 seconds on here. Basically, you add in your audio, you add in your image, which you can do whatever you want to with that. Actually, I'll add just to go through the process.
So it needs to be longer than 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, no, of course. So there's this, and once it's in there, I can hit play song, and you can hear that. I can then add my photo to it, whatever photo I want to. Doesn't matter. It's okay. Let me see here.
It doesn't need to be just PNG is okay, right?
Yeah, PNG is fine. So I'm literally just grabbing something right now. And then I can confirm the cover art meets the specified guidelines, etc., etc. And then I'll do test audio, and then you pick whatever genre you feel that it's appropriate. I'll go with C-pop. Language, that's English. And mood, I'm going to go with brooding. And tell us about your song. It's cool. And then, so you fill in that stuff. And here's the really, really cool part. And that is distribute and mint. And so at this point, I can add owners. Or royalty holders. So right now, myself, I'm getting 100% for the split. And I'm the composer. I can add a new contributor on this, or collaborator, we call them. And if you notice right down here in the fine print, it says for every additional artist who receive royalties, the fee to complete the minting process will increase by 1.2980. We know this because of, again, fee predictability with ADA. We know it will only be that much. And so I can say add a new artist, add myself, but as a faux artist. I can be a featured artist if I want to. I can get credits. I can also have royalty splits. If I hit add, there I am. And now I can come up here and I can actually set how much I'm going to get. And so all of this happens, and you click next, and you have this advanced details. It doesn't contain explicit. It's, right here. So there's a cool thing just for artists to know. If you're doing covers, a cover of a piece of music, you have to have a cover license. Otherwise, you can't upload that. That's just for any time you do that. So if somebody's doing a cover of like a famous song, they have to have those licenses. Right now, we have it to where you send it to support at Newm, and that gets attached and it gets put through. But if it's not cover, it's original.
Where would they get the license from? I'm just curious.
Yeah, no. Well, so this is also cool. So this is something else that we're also talking about. But there are a couple of places. So like the Harry Fox Foundation, for one, is a big place to where you can go and find most compulsory cover license. So the Harry Fox Foundation is the place typically to start your search. That's my quick answer for that. Okay. And it's literally a PDF. That's what it is. And you just upload it, and that's how they let you do that. But picture a future where the compulsory license, those cover licenses, are also NFTs. And if you have them in your wallet, then they can auto detect, and you don't have to go through that rigmarole. So that's also just a little heads up.
I see.
Then you can schedule your release date. We have a bare minimum of 2 weeks. And then you can select whatever publication date you want. You fill in your name and information. I'm just going to go Ryan Jones. Composition, and then copyright for the recording, Ryan Jones. And then and everything else you see at this point, you see it all says optional. If you've never released or distributed before, that's fine. Once you do this, it will auto assign codes to you. So you'll have all of this taken care of. So we take care of that. And then at this point, you click next. And what will happen is this will process through. And here is the cool thing, which I think is so amazing, is right now, if you sell something, let's say on OpenSea, a person can go, if you own this NFT, I will give you X, Y, and Z. right? They might type it on the screen or whatnot, but there's no legal document that's going to actually, or actual contract that's going to require them that it can hold up in court that if you go, I own this NFT, judge, they promised me, an NFT holder, that they'll do X, Y, and Z. He's going to look at you and go, where's your contract? And you're going to go, they just typed it on the website. Oops, right? So, well, here's the cool thing. Because of just going through this uploading process, what you have here is you actually have a legal agreement, and you can look at this, and this is how this is generated from all of the information you just filled out. And this document is minted on chain at the time.
Wow, very extensive document, yeah.
Yes. And it has all the information filled in, and you can download your document and you say, I can confirm. Now, here's the cool thing. Now we're about to run into a friction point, and this is on purpose. So this is what the payment summary looks like. And so it says minting, test audio, that's 2 ADA. I have 2 collaborators, that's 2.58 ADA. And my distribution cost, that's the actual payment distribution that we charge, is $9.99. So for a total of $11.69 worth of ADA, which is currently, unfortunately, only 31.48 ADA, that is the total. Now, we actually have an Oracle partner with Charlie 3. That's an Oracle here on Cardano solution, that we get our price feed for the ADA price at the time of payment summary. So this is what the receipt looks like. So you see your total cost in ADA with the USD equivalent, and then here's how it breaks down. And so if I click confirm and pay, you're going to run into a friction point. And you'll see that here in just a second. And again, like I said, this is actually on purpose. And it's because of legality issues and you'll see in just a second. It'll say request to mint and sign. It'll get through, and I'm not going to sign that right. Well, I guess I can. Let's see.
Okay, so yeah, right now it's asking for your permission.
Yeah, it'll ask for permission to sign, and I got to remember which. I have, us crypto people, we have too many.
Yeah, we have too many.
I'll figure it out later. It doesn't matter. I won't have to worry about showing you that right now. Anywho,
Okay.
So it runs into a friction point to where it says, wait, you don't have that second collaborator's permission. They haven't selected yes. So way back on this process, whenever I listed the other collaborator with their email address, the way this works is they get sent an email that says, hey, this artist said you're a collaborator and that you are owed 40% of the IP. Can you confirm or deny this is true? And so then that artist has to go and create an account on Newm, and they can either say, yes, that's correct, or no, that isn't correct, and then the minting can't happen. And this is because a lot of times in music, people will make music and they send it out into the world, and then they make money off of it. And then there's arguments and fights about who is actually owed what and who owns what and yada, yada. And so that's why you have a lot of bands that get really big and they break up, right? You remember that from the 80s? So this takes care of that beforehand. So we make sure that the ownership is accounted for and appropriately calculated before it gets minted onto the chain and distributed. So what does this look like when it's all done? And let's say your piece is out there and you have your stream tokens. Well, this is actually what this would look like in real life. So let's go to Newm. We'll go back to the Newm.io. And this is what an actually on-chain minted piece of music looks like that's been distributed to the world. So prime example is Mike Larrabin. He's an artist. He distributed Baby Bird, and he also sold stream tokens for this. And this is what it looks like. So for Mike, you can take a quick listen. So that's what he did. You can, and here I'll show you in just a second. You have a link to his Spotify, so you can go and stream the audio that he distributed. But then also you can buy stream token bundles, right? So we say bundles because if you look over here, it says 500,000 stream tokens are equal to 0.5% of the future streaming royalties. And so if I were to buy one bundle at 52 ADA, I would own 0.5% of the total streaming income from Baby Bird being streamed. And so I can change the bundle size, and I can buy in as big as 5 bundles at a time. So I could earn up to 2.5. I could own 2.5% of the future streaming royalty income.
So this is just for this song,
Yes.
right? This is one song,
Yeah,
right?
that's one song.
Hmm.
And so you can
Hmm.
actually go onto the Cardano blockchain right here with this link at pool.pm and see this is the parent contract, and then you have the royalty streaming agreement. You remember that PDF I showed you earlier?
Yeah.
This is minted on
Yeah.
chain inside of this. So you have your 30-second audio.
So we can see that PDF?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I can click that here, and it's actually right here. And so that is stored right there on chain. So just as a, it's there. I think this, to me, I find that just absolutely amazing. I love it, and it's really utilizing the chain. So here's all the metadata, as well as the legal agreement, that royalty share agreement. So for that one single, and that's what that looks like on chain. But that's also what your sale page looks like when they're selling the stream tokens. So that's what that looks like for the consumer that says, oh, I really like this piece of music. Oh, I can actually own part of the streaming royalties. Oh, okay. So that's what that journey looks like for the consumer side. But for the artist,
I see.
they're in the studio and they're sending it out, and then they have the ability to sell it. So, but that is where we're at for the music distribution side. So one of the things, I'll just give you a quick heads up, 2 up and coming products that are imminent this year is, one, the marketplace for the streaming token. So what you see right here, we're building out a marketplace, so it's all automated for all the artists. They can, from inside the studio, they can choose to put up their percentage, how much they want for sale of their stream tokens for their singles.
I see. So originally they own 100%, right? And then they just decide
correct.
how many they want to sell. Okay.
Or whoever out of the collaborators, they own their percentage. So so right here, I owned 60, he owned 40, right? So that was how we did the split. So I'll have 60% that I can do with whatever I want to, and he'll have 40%. But it's all mapped on the chain. So, but that's our product that's live right now that musicians can use to get their music out, and it tokenizes the IP for that. 2 up and coming products that are imminent this year that are going to play into this are, well, you know this. If you buy music NFTs right now, it doesn't matter where, OpenSea, it doesn't matter. The user experience to listen to them are terrible. There's no good way to consume music NFTs. It's clunky. So we actually have a mobile app coming out shortly that's going to, so when you go to, let's say you bought a music NFT from the record store, whenever you open up the Newm app and you've connected your wallet, it's going to scan your wallet and says, oh, here's all the music NFTs that they have custody of and ownership of. Well, let's go ahead and download it and load it up. So think about the iPod, but for blockchain. So you can take all your music NFTs on the go. And if you sell one of those, or you send it out of that wallet, it actually is removed from your new music app because it's no longer in there. So that's coming shortly. So the new music app is already, we already have a build on my phone right now on both iOS and Android. So that's coming out, and then also the marketplace for the stream tokens is coming out later this year too, Q4. So those are the 2 big products that we're launching at the end of this, or with the remainder time of this year. So at the end of the year, we'll have 4 big products. We'll have the record store for music collectibles, which we already have. We have the music distribution service, which we already have, with an additional 2.0 update that's going to give more features. Then we also have the mobile app that's coming out shortly, as well as the marketplace for the stream tokens. So for the streaming token IP. So that is
nice.
That's where we're at, and where we're going imminently.
Awesome. Actually, a couple questions related to the stream token. If you're going to go back to the page where the singer, Mike Lemon, maybe the previous page, the one where it show, this one. So stream token is that. I assume this is fungible token, but then is this the name of the token also?
Yes, so that is a fungible token, and so the basically here's the cool thing about Cardano. So we're able to mint one NFT, a parent NFT that is the on-chain, but within that parent NFT, concatenated within it are the child tokens. So you have parent and child. So you have the one NFT non-fungible, and inside of it are the 100 million fungible tokens. And that's how that actually works.
I see. And then okay, so this is the name is just like the way it that okay. What I want to ask is that is a stream token for this song that can it be swapped for another song or no? It's
No,
separate.
this token is
Okay.
specifically, this stream token is specific to this single. And every song
Oh,
will
I see.
have their own set of stream tokens.
I see.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
All right, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I thought that maybe naming it, maybe I don't know the name of the song as a token
Yeah.
would be easier, right? You know what I mean? Like instead of just stream token. Yeah, that was just my
Well,
thinking.
the only thing
Anyway.
is you have multiple. So we call that's what our name is for the type of token that it is. It's a stream token because for one single, for one audio, you can have different types of IP. I can have sync rights, I can have master rights, I can have mechanicals, I can have neighboring, I can have terrestrial. So in the future, one piece of music can generate income from multiple types of ways that you consume the music. So Mike's Baby Bird, if I stream it on Spotify, that's generating streaming income. So hence the stream tokens. If Mike's Baby Bird ends up on a YouTube video or on a movie, then that actually generates a different type of royalty called a sync royalty. And so if I had sync tokens, then that would be generating that income. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect. Yeah, actually, that was also like my next question. I think you just answered partially some of it. So I guess right now it only will generate the income if a user or listener play it on Spotify,
That's
right?
correct.
But not on any other platform.
We distribute to 130 plus streaming platforms. So any of those streaming platforms that we distribute to, if you listen to it, it will generate income. Now, eventually, Newm is going to turn on our own streaming platform that's going to have a higher payout rate. And when that happens, people will understand the actual value that really is generated. So currently with Spotify, the average payout rate is 0.003 cents per stream. And so if you actually do the math on that, whenever we've our initial calculations for us for our streaming platform, it will be an order of magnitude more. So it's not small. Anyway.
I think you said 0.003 cents, right? So that doesn't mean like, okay, I'm just doing quick math here. 1,000 plays would net them 3 cents.
Exactly.
Is that right?
That's pretty bad, isn't it?
Oh man, that is tiny. You can't even buy anything with that.
I know. So exactly. So when we actually release our own decentralized streaming platform, that is part of our roadmap. Our payout rate per stream is going to be a lot more. And the reason it is because we're not incentivized as a protocol to make a profit. We just need enough income from each transaction to cover our operating cost to pay to keep the lights on the infrastructure, correct? So all of that extra money goes exactly where it's supposed to the artist, and it's a lot. So right now with Spotify, if you as an artist don't get over 1,000 streams, you don't see any royalty income. They don't pay you your actually legally due royalties because by their arbitrary number of 1,000 streams, you didn't reach it. And also, they do something called a pooling model, to where, let's say, there are 10 artists, right? Let's say there's 10 artists on the platform. I subscribe to the platform. I pay my $10 a month to listen. I only listen to Mike's Baby Bird. That's the only thing I'm listening to for the entire month. If it doesn't receive 1,000 streams, then Mike doesn't see any of my money. And if there's like a superstar on the out of those 10 artists, right, and they're receiving millions of streams on that same month as Mike, and let's say Mike even gets over 1,000 streams, and that other artist just got like 100,000 streams, right, or 1,000,000 streams, because of the ratio so large with the current Spotify model, Mike won't see hardly any of that money because the artist that gets more streams is going to get a larger cut. So that basically means that my $10, he sees maybe $1, maybe 50 cents of that, even though I only listen to his music for the month. So think about a world now, though, in the future, where if I pay $10 and I only listen to Mike, Mike gets all of my $10 for that month because I only listen to his music, right? So that's think about that as it being direct from consumer to artist. That's the pathway we're going to. It just takes a couple steps to get
Nice.
there. So I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, totally makes sense. I mean, I've read a lot about like how, I guess what's the word, like fragmented, so many different intermediaries of music industry, but I never actually know like some of the numbers, particular number, like
Yes.
until you told me today. Yeah, it sounds quite bad. Like 1,000 plays for 3 cents. Yeah, I don't think anybody make a living of that.
No.
I guess if you, yeah.
So it's very
I see.
difficult.
Oh, very.
That's why most commercial musicians, they only make money off of touring and merch sales. It's so sad that the majority of the value at this point is not even the music, unfortunately. So, but we have to change
I
that.
see.
So, and we're in the process of changing it. It's a cultural shift.
Yeah, I guess maybe in like the way back before the music become more and more digital. I guess back I don't know how it was back in the day when people were using like CD player. Maybe they make more money back then because you can't really just rip things off
Yeah, it
on the
was.
internet.
Honestly, it's all about your artist connectivity to their fans. That's the biggest thing. Because right now with commercial music, it's a burn and churn. The artists aren't the most of the industry views artists and musicians as a value extraction, and it's not about the art. It's not about the music. People forget this. The industry is a business. It's not. The focus isn't on artistic creation. It's on turning a profit, and that has implications on the creative side of things.
I see. Yeah, it's true. When there's so many actors behind the scene, I guess they don't have the same aligned interests. Is what I'm trying to say.
That's correct. Yeah. Yes, you are correct. But I hope that
cool.
I hope that answered all your questions as far as just where we're at, where we're going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so maybe want to dig further deeper into maybe your company and your team real quick. So I think you said right now like what 50 people in your team. How many would you say is in engineering and how many is in business?
Oh Lord, I need to think about that.
Rough percentage is fine. Just curious.
I'm doing quick math in my head. Remember, I only count 4 on a daily basis. Trying to think in our product and engineering part. I'd say I think we have about 8 to 10. I think it's 10. It's roughly around there. Forgive me if I'm off on that.
Okay.
Rapid growth and you're going.
I see.
Yes.
So 8 to 10 handling the business and the rest is like engineering.
So we have a big marketing team and comms.
A big marketing team. Okay.
Yeah, big marketing and comms. We have our art team, which is our artist relations side of the equation. So that's for talking with musicians and bringing them on board. We have 3 people on our legal team. And then with the dev team, we have our 2 mobile devs. We have, I'm trying to think of Andrew, our CTO. We have product manager, product UI UX. And we have a couple interns for them too as well. So it trickles down. I'm not going to give you exact numbers because I don't want to tell you wrong.
Oh good. No worry. Right.
Go to the website. It seems
like
you can check them out.
Yeah. Okay. Oh good. Yeah. Just curious. Yeah. I think earlier when you showed the frog demo, it seems like the UX was quite smooth over there. I have to say.
Yes.
Yeah. At least like trying to abstract away a lot of the things without people realizing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the goals. Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. That's exactly one of the things we work for. Is we are a music ecosystem that just so happens to use blockchain on the back end. We want the tech to fade into the background to where the user experience is seamless.
Cool. Yeah. My main job role is like I'm actually a Web3 product manager, so of course I look into those things when I look into stuff. So wow. It's really cool. Yeah.
Well, then I'll take that as a doubly compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. And so I'm curious now about like what is the business models of your company? I think you said earlier you just charge like a one-time fee. Is that the main thing, or any other source of revenue?
Yeah. So the protocol takes a cut of every transaction in the marketplace, and then there's a small fee on the minting side of things. Those are the 2 immediate sources of income, essentially, for the protocol. But again, it's not to create massive profit for it. It's literally just to be able to afford infrastructure and keep the lights on. Once we have our once we have our streaming service go live, that'll be a subscription model from a consumer standpoint. We're also from the artist standpoint on the studio, they currently have an option to either pay per mint, so pay per distribution of that $10. That's our introductory price. But then also we're going to eventually have a subscription model annually for musicians. So they'll have options. So that's the other big thing. But again, the one of the biggest things is what we hope and think is going to be a big driver of the income is going to be transaction fees from the marketplaces for the transaction.
Nice, I see. Yeah. Would you say that you want to focus more on the artist or more on the studio, or a little bit of both?
It has to be both. It has to be both, because you have no music industry without musicians. That's
Yeah,
people.
well, that's true.
People
Yeah.
forget that, but musicians aren't necessarily business people, and they need help to understand tools that are available to them. And so we actually have a couple of target audiences, and that's what makes it a difficult lift early on. Is we actually have an end user consumer, right? We have the consumer facing side of the equation of the non-musicians, and then we have the musician half of the equation, which are using the back end of things. And those are two different products and two different funnels. And so, but we have to address both of them. Otherwise, you don't have success, right?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So what are some of the main challenges or hurdles facing?
Main hurdles, I would
Yeah.
say, from the artist side is, I actually think it's for both sides, and I think it's the typical one that any crypto runs into right now, and it's the grandma test. I call it, but it's fiat off and on ramps, custodial wallets versus non-custodial wallets, and having seamless integration with those options. I think, and I think the industry as a whole is still not quite there yet to play with Web 2 all the way, and so there is a friction point of, you mean I can't pay with my minting with just my credit card, like right off the bat? Well, no, not yet. But part of we want people to come to us because they feel that there is just that much more of a value prop of being in the ecosystem, right? And so, which I think that's part of the journey. I think people start with what's this? And then they see, oh my gosh, this is actually, there might be some weird thing, a learning curve on something, but the value prop is so much more that it's just worth it, right? But we also need to meet people where they're at. So I honestly think that's the most difficult part of the process for us, because everything's great, like you said, until you get to the mint button, and so that just has implications of, oh, I need a wallet. So that can be its own starter video in and of itself, because you go, okay, well, which wallet?
It is, yeah.
Right. So that's the biggest, I think, friction point. But again, it's not unique to us. I think it's to anybody in the Web3 industry, to be frank.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of company right now trying to address that with like account abstraction and maybe like either custodial nature or just abstracting it away by linking it to your email directly, so you can create a wallet out of that.
Correct.
Which is basically what one of the account abstraction thing trying to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I can totally see that. So I guess right now on your platform, people still need to have their own non-custodial wallet, right?
That's correct.
To sign up.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can totally see that. There could be a hurdle because you have to jump through maybe, I don't know, 6 to 9 steps to get your
write your seed phrase
fiat
and all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
And then fund your wallet. Right. Exactly. So that's the only problem. I will say though, we suggest using Vesper. Vesper is and NewFi. So NewFi wallet is a multi-chain wallet. So if people have Ethereum, etc., they can easily convert over to the assets they need or whatnot. Or Vesper itself, that's a Cardano-based wallet, and you can purchase ADA directly from inside the wallet. So, but yeah, those are our two preferred options.
Nice, cool, yeah, good to know. Actually, I just thought back about the artist you were showcasing earlier. So regarding for most of the current Web2 streaming platform like Spotify, maybe Apple Music, do you have to do any special backend like IT integration work with them for this to work?
So
or does it work out of the box?
it works out of the box because of our white label partner. So we have a white label partner that we have API connectivity to. That whenever you go through the Newm studio, we're connected with them, and we have the same parameters that we collect, and so it all plays together, and they get it distributed out to the Web2 streaming platforms. So that's how that actually works.
Who is this white label partner?
I don't. I'll probably keep that one. I'll keep that one.
Okay.
Me. Yeah, I will. I will say that it's this white label partner is the same partner that some of the biggest labels use in the industry. So they're well known.
I see. For the music industry. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know that deep into the music industry, so
no, you're totally
there's still quite a lot for me to learn. Yeah, but when it comes to Web3, though, I think I know good amount. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
More than the big for sure. Okay. I see. So with 50 people, you guys been running company for what? 4 like 4 years right now, right?
Well, I'd say in the iteration that it is now, I'd say for about 2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
did something happen before that?
No, it's just we didn't accelerate and grow that big and start until about then. It was really the founders and then, like our core team of like myself, Tiziana, Florian, Andrew, and Alex, our head of marketing. So that was our core team, what we started with, and that took us a minute to get to that point. But after that, when startups, it starts accelerating very quickly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very, very typical.
Very much so. I think it really took off in 2021.
I see. How did the core team meet each other?
We haven't met each other all yet. That's the funny thing.
Really?
Yeah, yes. So I will.
So who know whom then? Who know whom then?
So I have yet to meet Tiziana and Alex and some of our other team that's across the pond. So I can tell you the sun never sets on work for Newm because we're a global company. I think
very typical for Web3 company, yeah.
Right? So I can tell you, we actually went on to Killer Whales, the first season of Killer Whales with Hello TV. And actually, that was the first time that my co-founder Florian and myself had seen each other in person.
Oh, actually, yeah, he actually, I think I remember. I think I saw that. I think that's where, I saw a section of that. That was quite a very funny.
I know
show. I have to say, yeah.
Yes, it was.
I felt like it wasn't. I don't know what it was about. It was more like for engagement more than actually about like crypto.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But no, that was the first time he and I had met. I met Andrew, our CTO, in 2021 at the first Cardano summit in Laramie, Wyoming, and then. I've met I've met most people on our American team, either at Rare Evo, one of the events in Vegas, etc. But the European half, or on the other side of the pond, I have not met hardly any of them yet, and I was so sad because we had the Cardano Foundation, the summit last year in Dubai, and I had a baby on the way, so I couldn't go.
Oh,
and so I wasn't able to meet everybody yet, so I've yet to see everybody. But we. And funnily enough, even with it being remote first, and we're on screens a lot, we've done a lot of life together the past couple of years, and in some ways, I feel like I know them better, and they me better than other people that are physically in my orbit on a daily basis. So,
when you said live, like were you guys singing with each other?
No,
just singing some music in that.
Just honestly, I think one of the things about leadership and running a company is your employees are so much more than just their work. It's a sum of all that happens on a daily basis, and so truly for us, our ecosystem, there are growing pains because you have to corporatize some as you get larger. You have to have processes, and Florian is wonderful at that.
Yes,
but at its core, we're very much family oriented, friendly. It feels like family. Feels like just a big group of people who all care. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, when I say do life together, I know some of their kids. They've had kids while we started. I've had a child now. We've met family. Our wives have met some other wives, and we all know what's going on in each other's lives outside of Newm work, which is pretty awesome. So
nice. Awesome. And then what stage of the company is your company in? Are you guys like right now self-funding? Have you raised fund already?
We've had some pre-seed private investors at this point. and we are. I mean, you're a founder. You're always trying to actively raise capital, so that's where we're at.
Yeah.
But we've raised date, I think around 1.2, 1.3 worth of operating capital, and it's we've been lean and we've been extremely efficient. So and truly, I mean, what we've built, as you've seen with that, it's, I mean, we have a talented team of individuals, and I can tell you, my CTO Andrew, he was he worked at Nike in the past. He was one of the, he actually worked on was in charge of the Nike Fit app. We have people that are in other big, one of the big FANG companies. A lot of our coders and devs are working there as well. So we have very high quality individuals putting their time in. So I'm eternally thankful.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, that's always good to hear. So I'm quite curious about, like, where do you see in the future, like, where is the intersection of like music and Web3 will be heading in like the next few years or so?
gosh, I would say for a musician standpoint, they will be able to have a career in music without having to sacrifice their art and without having to do multiple jobs on the side just to do the thing they love. From a consumer standpoint, I think we have a job I would love to see, and I hope I see, where people start to realize the true value of the industry, that it actually lies in the music itself, and that people don't just passively consume. They're actively understanding what it is and the value behind the thing they're listening to. And I want to see, and I think we'll have, because we're facilitating it, more ways for consumers and fans to directly connect and have much more meaningful relationships, to where you become much more than just a fan. Think about this, right? If you, we'll use myself. Let's say I have a piece of music out, you love it, you buy my tour merch, right? Or you buy a ticket to a show.
Yeah.
Cool, great. You've bought something. But if you buy part of the, let's say, streaming IP, stream tokens for my song, that's a little different. That's more involvement. That's saying I believe in you as an artist, and I believe in your actual piece of music, that it's going to be successful. That's something much more meaningful than just buying a shirt, right? So that's something more than a fan. That's coming along with the journey. That's coming along the journey with the artist, and not just watching from afar. So that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to see more active engagement and meaningful engagement between artists and their fan base.
Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully, I guess maybe someday we will see that as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm always, I mean, for my podcast, I'm always looking for like interesting use cases of using blockchain technology.
You're gonna pull out your phone and you're gonna go to your Newm app, right? And you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go to my Newm app, and okay, there's this cool song. Oh, I really like this song. Okay, cool. Oh, I can own partial ownership in this. Okay, let me buy some. Oh, great. Oh, let me see, how much did that generate this month? Oh, cool. Let me just claim my royalties. Oh, my artist just airdropped all of his stream token holders this NFT that gets me special access to something. Oh, cool. I just have token gated access to something in my wallet, right? That's where the world's going, in my opinion.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that'll be very cool when we see that happen too.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fully aware of the power of what NFT, and even IP NFT can do, but yeah, to actually see it in real action, what your company is doing, is, I would say, like one of the first for me. Yeah, especially for the music industry. Anyway.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
I'm very proud of the work that we're doing. It's very forward thinking. It's not necessarily with the current market trends of sexy. It's not the AI, it's not the whatever. But to me, it's the more meaningful thing that's actually going to have long lasting impact that people won't see coming until it just happens.
Yeah, for sure. For your company, I think earlier you said like you would become was it a distributor of music? I think you said earlier, right?
We are a music distribution. We have a music distribution service. Yeah.
Okay. In the future, do you see yourself? What is like the ideal end game state for your company?
You become more on that. I mean, the ideal for me is nobody knows who I am, and I use my own product. That's the ideal. Like I should be out of a job. Like I mean, truly, like that's because all the value accrual is into the ecosystem itself, right? And so it's it's about the ecosystem, it's about the protocol, and if it's having users and people are interacting with it on a daily basis, then we've done our job right? So
I
it
see.
shouldn't
So
need human hands except for very few instances, and if it does, then you take a DAO structure and go with it from there, right?
yeah,
So we more view
yeah. I
ourselves as
think
custodians. We're custodians of the protocol.
I see. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think many other Web3 company also kind of structuring themselves like that, and then decentralizing the whole ownership of the entire protocol into a DAO, right?
Correct.
And then giving the voting, the control and the power of the people.
Most assuredly.
Cool.
So and
Nice.
yeah, that's how we were building this out, and we actually have a partner with a company called Sunday Swap, Sunday Labs, that built out our governance, our governance platform. So you can actually, we've already had a couple of governance votes right now for our token holders, and it's a very easy process. So
nice, awesome. Yeah, to be honest, today I've learned so many new names, of so many different protocols because I myself I don't think I'm not that familiar with like the Cardano ecosystem. I'm
it's okay.
more into the EVM for sure.
I
But
totally get it.
But it's always good learning though.
Well,
But I mean,
we have an advantage of having some really good smart contract programmers, specifically with Aiken and Haskell. We have really good people on our team. So and I think at least with Cardano, the barrier to entry for developers is going down, and it's getting easier and easier for them to have a good user experience with more documentation. So yeah, it is what it is, right? So, but we were fortunate before that all happened. We already had a couple of really good people who just knew what they were about. So
cool. Yeah, good to hear. I think that's always good to hear from a developer perspective. Any hurdle that can be lower is always good to hear, especially with docs. I think developer cannot never get enough the docs to develop themselves. Yeah, and for me personally, I see a future with more like a multi-chain structure because there'll be multi-chain. I don't know what do you think of that? And are you thinking about expanding to multi-chain ecosystem in the future?
I view it as like a symphony of blockchains, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's a beautiful way to put it.
Thank you.
Very musical way.
Well, truly, because I think, at the end of the day, from a consumer standpoint, we are past the point of, oh, you're building on that blockchain. Oh, you're building on that block. That was so 2017, right? That was so 2021. I think more or less nowadays, people are more worried about what's the end consumer's experience, right? And there are purpose-built chains. I know we all have the trilemma that people are trying to solve for.
Yep.
I do think the extended UTXO model, and if things are built out, I do think that it can adequately address the three of them. Now, again, the best tech doesn't always win. Sometimes it's network effect and timing to market. We get that, right?
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I think there will be a world in which people have assets that are living on different chains, but that they have an interface to where that is obscure, right? The chain, whatever chain this asset lives
it's
on.
called chain abstraction.
Correct, right? Yeah,
I think that's a term. Yeah.
So and to me, I think that's going to be the way. I think chains are still. When I say chains, I think layer ones are still. They're still fighting for market share and they're still fighting for relevance. I think layer twos are still fighting for relevance as well. Because when Ethereum has its next upgrade, etc., that's going to address some fees, and so I think we still, as an industry, I think we still have some shakeups that are going to happen for the next couple years. But I do think that the big players are probably here to stay for the most part, I think. But
I think so too.
But I think we'll see, as the cycles go on, I think we'll see less value. Well, I don't think we'll see less value. I think just the total market cap will increase. More value will come on into this industry. But I do think that Bitcoin, it'll still be Bitcoin. But I do think other value locked will be, I think we'll see others. I think we'll see more volume coming into other chains, and eventually there'll be a flipping probably of Bitcoin by others. And Ethereum will probably lead the charge. So, which is fine. I think it's good for the entire industry. I think a rising tide lifts all boats. And then hopefully
Yeah.
developers will pick their flavor of developer, language and what their use case needs to be, and they'll find the chain that suits their needs. I do think that Cardano will probably end up, in the most part, being more attractive to people who are tight security focused, I would imagine, just based and so personally, I think that's what it will be. What more people will gravitate towards. If you need fast finality or you need fast transactions, etc., you have your options. But if you just need to know it's going to work and whatnot, then maybe that's what you need. And also with the native assets, I do think that is a value prop. That once people see that, they'll go, "Oh, it'd be nice to have a native asset with my asset over here, but that can interact with a smart contract, maybe on Ethereum or etc." Right? So, which that actually
Nice.
that capability is coming in our next hard fork, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you. I think that's very well put. Yeah, I'm also hoping that someday that maybe it will be easier and easier for blockchain to communicate with one another. Right now, it's still a very big, huge pain in the butt, to be honest. Even like simple bridging is already a huge pain, and I think people have to go back to centralized exchange to
yes. Well, and bridges
swap. Yeah,
open up attack vectors. I hate bridges.
yeah, it
I
does.
really do. But
Yeah,
I think right now blockchains or their corresponding foundations aren't incentivized necessarily to play with everybody else yet. I think they're still trying to go, you want to come to us for X, Y, and Z. And I think once that gets settled, then they'll go, okay, we'll play nice with everybody else and we can all talk together. So I think we're just not quite at that narrative point yet. I think we're getting there. We see it with the EVM chains. They don't have to do anything. It's it's the same thing, rinse and repeat. So they all play together. But as soon as you get off of that, like into avalanches, polka dots of the world, not polka dot, well, yeah, both of those, and the other stuff, then we'll see what happens.
I see. Yeah. For me, I think that's maybe I also have to do like the standards as well across blockchain, like how communicate token standard and the many other standard actually, like interop standard also. I think once we see the industry maturing, I think we see more standards being put into place, and hopefully it'll be easier for the cross chain.
Yes, I hope
communication.
Maybe both.
Yeah, someday. Anyway, someday. Anyway, just two more questions from my side here.
Yes.
One is, do you have any advice for people who want their own Web3 company?
Oh man, don't start a company in the middle of a pandemic. I joke. I joke. But truly, if you're going to start a Web3 company, you have to be okay living in the liminal space. And when I say liminal space, I mean the space between, because there's a lot of transitory time, and you have to be flexible, and you have to be able to pivot, and all the while, you have to be consistent and have laser focus. You can't get distracted. Or I've seen so many Web3 startups that they mistake the word pivot with, we have too many focuses that we're trying to do, and then they end up not delivering on any. And so I think that is something that's critical. Also, community, marketing matters. You can have the best thing that you've ever built, but if no one knows about it and no one's using it, it does no good. So I would say you need to have impeccable marketing that has appropriate community engagement. Because the other thing about Web3 is, if you're really Web3, you're building in public, which that means you don't get to present a pretty package when it's all said and done and go, here, right? That's not how it works. It's people see if you set a deadline or you don't make the deadline, or you promise something and you don't deliver on something, that's something you have to account for those. And you cannot underestimate the value of goodwill with your community and transparent communication. If you have those things, I think that's keys to success with your community and with your people in your company too. I think people, they have a bullcrap detector. They know when you're not being authentic, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's radical transparency is a big thing for us, and I think it served us well personally. So that's a couple of things just from a human resources, just the human element side of the equation. So
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I think for sure, yeah, Web3's, I mean, with our community, you can really build it. And then, yeah, you need a lot of marketing to educate, because Web3, most of the Web3 products that I know of tend to be quite very technical, right, in nature. So how to simplify, break it down, get it accessible to people, especially for like you said, for your target audience who are a musician who probably don't know anything about tech or know very little about tech, right?
correct.
Yeah, you want to be able to convey the message across to them, and yeah, and always keeping up with the deadline for sure. I think that's also a very good principle.
Yeah,
because you're building in public, everything.
Exactly, right. So I think those are just some practical. To me, I kind of go, well, these are they seem obvious to do these things, but unfortunately, they're not. They don't always happen with companies and startups and Web3. So I think those are big things, and then always under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, I believe that will always work. Under promise, over deliver. Awesome. And then final question: where can people follow you on your company? Feel free to share any public handle, username.
Newm.io. That's the place to go. And we're at Project Newm on Twitter or X. And then you can also go to newm.io/record store to get there. Or if you're a musician and you want to use the distribution service, you can go to newm.io/artist. And that's where you can find us on there. We're really active on X, Twitter. We also have an Instagram as well, Project Newm. You can go and find us on there. And then if you go to newm.io, we have all of our socials on there as well. So, and feel free to hit us up in any of those, tag us, or even, dare I say, send an email. Also works too. So those are the best places to find us. And you can find me personally at Ryan Jones_Newm on Twitter myself. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to put all those links in the show notes about your company and then your personal handle name. That way the viewers or the listener, if they're on Spotify, can actually find this easily.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah. Once again, Ryan, it's been awesome chatting with you today. I've learned so much more about the Cardano ecosystem and your project as a whole. And yeah, it's been really awesome time chatting.
Thank you so much for having me on. And I know we went a little over time, but it was fun chatting with you. So you asked really cool questions. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And we're back to my studio. What do you guys think about this episode with Ryan, the co-CEO and co-founder of Newm? Personally, I think Newm is a very fascinating company that is doing very meaningful work to disrupt the music industry, which is a huge industry with a lot of intermediaries. And I think that's very ripe for disruption using Web3 technology. Personally, I've also learned a lot about the Cardano ecosystem as well. Please leave a comment below if you have learned something new about Web3 or the music industry. For the next episode, we'll be talking to John Chambliss. He's the CEO of Elevator Labs. They are doing attestation for commercial real estate. We will also be talking about real assets as well, because a lot of real estate is actually real assets. And it's a huge trending topic in Web3 this year. Once again, thank you for watching and see you next time.